The most effective people at work aren't working harder than everyone else. They're working smarter, inside better systems. Superhuman Go, from the makers of Grammarly, is the AI chat that works inside every tool you already use. Always ready and already aware of what you're working on. It's a teammate whose only job is to help you be better at yours. With Go working with you, you can show off what you do best. See what Superhuman Go can do at superhuman.com. That's superhuman.com.
Hello and welcome to Your Coaching Journey, a podcast for doctors about coaching. Whether you're a coaching doctor, a doctor who is learning to coach, or a doctor who'd like to build coaching into your professional life, then this is the podcast for you.
Hi, I'm Helen Leathers, and with me today is my co-host and business partner, Tom Dillon. Good morning, Tom. How are you?
Good morning, Helen. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very good. Yes, I'm looking forward to our chat.
What are we talking about?
Today, I thought we would talk about coaching for limiting beliefs.
Oh, yes.
So it's something we've touched on before. Firstly, in our mindset episode, which was ages ago in episode 28. And also in our exploration of cognitive behavioural coaching, which was even earlier in episode 14. And then a bit more recently in episode 148 on the ABCDE model.
You're just going to list all of our previous episodes?
Yeah.
Stick with this one for now, people.
Yeah, we'll put links in the show notes to those, but today...
Well, I'm going to link one too, because I think a lot of this stuff, there's some crossover with transactional analysis.
Yeah, I think you're right.
About in episode 30. So there.
Yeah.
Got my own in.
Okay. And recently the drivers
and the drivers
about in episode 167.
Oh, I can't remember what it is. Well done.
I do have some notes in front of me. I don't remember all of those. So I just
more episodes in before the end of this episode.
I just thought it would be useful to explore it a bit more explicitly and really think about how to work with limiting beliefs. Either if someone comes to coaching and says, I've got a limiting belief, or if as a coach you spot something that indicates that a limiting belief might be in operation.
Okay, let's start with, what is a limiting belief?
Good question.
And sometimes I hear it as a self-limiting belief. Because not all limiting beliefs are about you, are they?
No.
You might have a limiting belief about someone else.
Is it a limiting belief then? Because you can't limit someone else.
No, but if it's a belief about, let's say you can have a conversation with someone. I was listening to a podcast the other day and this guy was talking about being at church, and it was Easter, and the pastor was doing this thing, and afterwards kind of engaging with people outside afterwards, and he's thinking, I wonder what he's doing for lunch. What his plans are for Easter. He said, he'll have plans. He's the pastor. He's been here 10 years. I've only been here a year. People know him. Everyone knows him. He'll be going somewhere. And he was really, thinking, that's a stupid question. He said, well, no, I'm going to ask him anyway. So he went over to the pastor and said, what are your plans for Easter? And he said, I don't have any. He said, come to us for Easter. And so there was a limiting belief about the pastor that was getting in the way of him having a conversation with him about that thing. Okay.
Yeah, point taken. Yeah, limiting belief.
I guess from your reaction that we're talking about self-limiting beliefs.
Well, I know you've made me think. I'll tell you what, at the end, you can decide
all right, we'll
whether it's only self-limiting beliefs that we are going to be talking about today. I suspect we might be able to work on both limiting and self-limiting beliefs.
I think we do, in that way of mind reading what other people are thinking, or the way that other people will respond. We can limit ourselves based on our judgment about other people, can't we?
Yeah, and in a way, if you think back that story, he was still limiting himself to not having that conversation.
Yes, you're right. So it was self-limiting.
Yeah,
it was his belief, and it was self-limiting. It just happened to be about someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Okay, you win again.
Pete, can I have the recording of Tom saying I'm right, please? That would be fabulous. Let's start with what limiting beliefs are. And you've just perfectly described really what limiting beliefs are. They're a story. They're a story we tell ourselves about ourselves, but also about other people, about the world, and that have become deeply held assumptions. I mean, that particular one might have not been that deeply held. It was quite lightly held, perhaps. But for a lot of them, they are very deeply held. They've become so ingrained in our thinking that we absolutely believe them. Or perhaps, more accurately, we don't even think about them. We don't think not to believe in them. Because they just are.
Yeah.
So they're those inner statements about ourselves we're emotionally invested in.
No. So we've just said inner statements about ourselves.
Or others, or the world.
Okay.
They're inner statements which we are emotionally invested in.
I'm just saying,
picking me up, yeah.
we're...
Okay. So they've shaped us. They're probably, very unbeknown to us, have been with us for a long time. Since childhood, perhaps.
And this is what I said, that idea of it crossing over with the transactional analysis and the drivers, that deeply embedded stuff that, we just, it's in our unconscious, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you think back to when we were talking about drivers a few episodes ago, and you mentioned my old belief about being clumsy, that's a limiting belief, right?
Yeah.
That was a limiting belief.
Oh, it didn't stop you knocking things over.
Thank you. Thank you for reinforcing
Carried on
that.
doing that. No, I'm joking. You're not clumsy at all. I would say you're less clumsy than I am, and I don't think of myself as being clumsy.
Thank you.
We're at the bottom end of clumsiness scale.
Yes.
Where 1 is not clumsy and 10 is very clumsy.
Thank you for framing that correctly. And we've spoken about cognitive biases before, and I think they kick in as well, because when something fits with our belief about ourselves, we take it as proof, and when something happens that disproves it, we probably don't even notice it.
Like confirmation bias.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Delete, distort, generalise. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so some examples of limiting beliefs, we've already mentioned that. I'm clumsy. It could be, I'm not ready for that promotion.
I had this yesterday with someone that's just completing our course and looking at doing the advanced course. And it was like, I've got a bit of imposter syndrome. I don't know that I'm ready to make that leap to the advanced. And I was coaching her in the classroom. And I said, so it sounds like you will have completed the first course and the natural progression is to do the advanced course. So in what way are you not ready for that? It's all like, that sounds like a natural progression.
Yeah.
But it could... And she went, oh, yeah. But in some way, the advanced was for someone else, somewhere. But she hadn't really thought it through. She's happy now.
Good. So someone might believe they're too young to lead in an organisation. Yes. Someone might believe I'm not good with numbers.
Yeah, and I think some of that is socialised, isn't it? That being too young, because other people will go, well, you're a bit young for this, or you're very young, and yeah.
I used to get that when I first started running workshops and trainings.
Yeah, and I always say with anyone doing anything, it doesn't matter when you start. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's like you might have 5 years experience of something at 21 and be an expert in it.
Yeah.
Just because you're 21 doesn't mean you can't do it.
Exactly. What about I can't train as a coach because I'm a doctor?
Yeah.
Or
I've never come across anyone with that belief, but I'm sure there are people out there listening.
Might be. Or
but you're wrong. You can. Come. Join
I can't run a business.
I thought you could say run a marathon then.
Well, I think
I did have that limiting belief in my 20s that I would never think of running a marathon. I'd always been a sprinter at school. Why would you go more than once round a track? Why would you do that? But yeah, it wasn't until I got fit doing what was that thing you used to do on a step? Step. That way. That thing. I got very fit doing step aerobics. And someone said, I'm going for a run. Do you fancy coming? All right. And just went out and ran 3 miles. And I can do that. Whereas I think, I would have had a limiting belief that probably a mile was as much as I could have done. Then I did run the London Marathon 3 times.
Excellent. But running a business was what I was trying to say.
Sorry. I digress.
But running absolutely could be a thing. We do have some people that sometimes come on the course and think, I don't know if I can run a business. And
yes,
that's a belief. But, perhaps they just don't have the knowledge that they need yet, or they've got a different
some of those people run GP practices.
Yes.
The GP partners. They go, oh, no, I couldn't run a business. What? That's what you're doing. And I couldn't charge someone. Oh, yeah, but you're an appraiser. You charge for your time as an appraiser. Oh, yeah.
So we do come across quite a lot of limiting beliefs in the coaching space. And they're not facts, are they?
No. And they're self-imposed ceilings, aren't they? And could really have a fundamental impact on what people do with their lives. So they could stop us going for something that we really would love to do.
Yeah.
Just because we don't believe we can.
Yeah.
Or it's not for the likes of us.
Yeah, I think that sometimes comes up. And I know that you love TA, transactional analysis, and I think many of those limiting beliefs may come from our childhood experience, which fits in with that framework. We're born into a family with a particular set of views and beliefs about the world. We learn from them. And we also learn from culture, community, and the society that we're part of as well, don't we?
Yeah, so a lot of it is put upon us.
Yep.
We don't make a conscious decision to have those beliefs, values, expectations. They're kind of just part of our upbringing, aren't they?
Yeah, as a almost silly aside, when my sister said to my dad that she'd got a cleaner, you could see my dad's reaction. It's like, oh, that's not for people like us,
Yes.
And, it wasn't for people like him because he had my mum. But
Yeah.
But I remember saying, well, we've got a cleaner, and, trying to back up my sister that it was okay and break through that, I suppose, class belief from him.
Yeah, and obviously not all of it comes from childhood. Some of it will be our experiences as we go through life, and we might have a knockback and think, oh, well, that, we might have one bad interview that we remember, and we forget the good ones we've had, and then we go, oh, I'm rubbish at interviews.
Yeah.
If I'm going for another job, I won't get it because I'm rubbish at interviews. When actually you just had a bad experience.
Yeah. Or it could be hearing something that someone said about you, maybe.
Yeah.
We've talked about that in the drivers episode as well recently. And then we get feedback, what people notice and say about us that we take on board. We think it defines us. And I think that's because as humans, we look for patterns. Like, our brain is lazy, isn't it? So we label, we categorise, we make things as simple as possible. So in our family dynamics, we become the sensible one, the naughty one, the clumsy one, the people like us. And if we keep hearing those, that restricts us. We don't really see them anymore, do we? We just kind of, it's our reality. And then we find it really hard to break out of that and to challenge those restrictions.
Yeah, I think I had the message of being lazy.
Did you?
Yeah. I think it took me a long time to stop feeling guilty for not doing things, for sitting still. I'd still sit still, but feel guilty about it. It's not healthy, is it?
No, we need to sit still.
Yeah. I don't think I am lazy, but
I would certainly say you are not lazy.
So you've mentioned some of the episodes that already might be useful in dealing with limiting beliefs, but I think in the coaching room, probably the most obvious way to work with limiting beliefs is probably the cognitive behavioural approach.
Yes, I think so. It's a great method to help us challenge those beliefs and find new ones that we can try on for size, see how we get on with them.
Yeah, and I really like the ABCDE model. Forgot what came after D then.
If only you had a good way of remembering the orders.
Need a system. What was I going to say? Forgotten. So, yes. And I think to some extent within the cognitive behavioural world, it's sort of been supplanted a bit by the space model that people tend to work with that while because it's got a diagram. It's kind of easy to visualise, isn't it? But I think the ABCD model is really simple.
Yeah.
It's as easy as
ABC.
And it can be really impactful.
Yeah.
So I think the ABCD model is really good for challenging people's beliefs about something that's happened and the story they're telling themselves about it. So when an event has happened, the activating events, that's the A of the ABCD model. they then have a belief about it. And that might be a self-limiting belief, but there will be a belief. There's a story being told. Okay, this has happened and it means this. And they build up these beliefs, which will be impacted by past events. It will be impacted by their values, their biases. Yes, so all of those filters will be applied and they will have a belief. And then the consequences of that belief they'll have some emotion, they might take some action, they might not take some action, but they will be sitting with something as a consequence. So that's the C, the consequence. So I think working with that will just come into the room as a story that gets told, and you then have to unpick it and decide what's real and what's not, and what assumptions are being made, and where are they going? Where have they jumped to with that? What are the consequences of that? And then we can start to debate, dispute, filter it out. So that's the D, that's no F. Debate and dispute those beliefs to then get put to that point of a better emotional, what's the E? It is
effective way of
believing, thinking, not
yeah.
emotion.
No.
Well, I think you could have it as a better emotional state.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
So identifying those limiting beliefs initially, if they're not bringing them, having thought about them already, we might
because I don't think they will think of them as a limiting belief. That will just be the story, won't it? It will be
sometimes, but I have had people come to coaching and say, I've got a limiting belief around this.
They've probably had coaching before.
Maybe. But we might be looking for that language of absolutes, always, never, can't, even should.
Yeah.
Those sort of languages, those sort of words, and to perhaps dig down under the story to find not just what the surface level challenge is, but trying to look beneath it and see what they're thinking around.
And phrases like, well, I'm not capable, or I can't, those sort of things. So once we've identified the limiting belief, what comes next?
So we've identified the limiting belief, and then we're going to continue to work through that ABCD model. We don't necessarily have to explain it to someone, but we can use it to inform our questions. And we could be looking at the consequences of having that belief, as you mentioned. So questions like, where's it come from? How did you learn this? And perhaps thinking about and understanding what the belief is protecting. Because our brains, like our parents, will be trying to protect us from something.
Yeah.
If you have learned that's not for people like us, for example, it might be that it's been told to you to protect you from possible failure or ridicule or discomfort, or perhaps an experience that your parent had that made them feel other, so they don't want you to feel that way.
And I think when I talked about in the drivers episode, I talked about someone that had a perfectionist script, and when I asked, where does that come from? She said, my dad always used to say, if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing well. And she'd then taken that as a belief. If a job is worth doing, it's worth doing well. Whatever the circumstances, you have to do that job well. And, she was in a situation where she couldn't do it well. There wasn't time. It had to be good enough. But no one had ever taught her there are times when good enough is good enough.
And actually, she was only told well. She wasn't told perfect.
No, but she'd taken that as a message, and that became her belief.
So it's about unpicking that, isn't it?
Asking where it came from. So and I think sometimes those limiting beliefs can be a really clever way for our ego to keep us from the pain of failure, rejection.
Yeah, definitely.
It's trying to protect us, isn't it, in some way?
I think so.
Because it's uncomfortable to go for an interview is uncomfortable, isn't it? Because there is a possibility that you might not get the job, which you might then see as failure and be even more uncomfortable. Yeah.
There's a reason why we call it stepping outside your comfort zone.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think also helping our coachees to understand where these things have come from can really help with some self-compassion. And not just self-compassion, but perhaps compassion towards the people. Like you can understand that your parent didn't mean for you to believe that in that way. So you can have that compassion for them and compassion for yourself for having taken that as a wholehearted belief.
Often there's a secondary gain involved, isn't there, too, having some limiting beliefs. So that might be you don't actually have to make an effort.
Yeah.
It could be by telling people you're rubbish, you get complimented and get some attention.
Oh, you're not rubbish.
People.
Yeah. So thinking about what do you lose, what do you gain by continuing to believe it?
Yeah.
And what do you lose and what do you gain by letting go?
Yeah.
Once we've really explored that, we can start looking at disputing or dispelling that belief about how true is this? What evidence is there? When did you not believe this? What assumptions are you making? Which is a lovely question I like.
Yes, and then we need to help the coachee think about creating a more enabling belief.
Enabling. Effective, yes. And I do think...
Oh, that's another E.
Is it? Yes, enabling.
Okay.
And I think that has to be realistic in the reframing. Like, you can't just take someone from I'm terrible at public speaking to I'm the best speaker in the world.
No, and I think we've talked about this before, haven't we? That maybe I haven't. Maybe I've just done this in my head. I had a podcast going on in my head. That idea of, no, you're great, you got this. That sort of thing is not really helpful.
Yes.
Because it has to be realistic.
Absolutely. And we might explore other questions before they come up with that new belief. We'd have to do a little bit of work around it. We might explore what options they have in terms of new beliefs. And we might want to help them to reflect on past experiences, remember strengths, maybe even tap into values as well, past achievements, so that they have like a background of feeling they can do it before they start to move into their new way of thinking. So tell me about a time when you have learned something new, for example.
So that's a very solution-focused approach, isn't it? To
Yes.
go back to past experiences, past successes, and what strengths did you use in that situation? What character traits do you have that would be a benefit in that situation?
I do think that can help, because if you've got a limiting belief, I think it can be hard to find a new way of being. So,
and I think actually taking some action, even just small steps towards whatever it is that you want to move towards, it can be really useful just as a bridge to a new belief. Because sometimes trying to change that belief that's been around for decades, maybe, we're not going to do that in a single coaching session. So actually taking some action, and again, very cognitive behavioural, if we take an action, that's probably going to change our thinking, change our emotions, change how our body feels. So it can lead us in the right direction without the belief being totally destroyed. Because the beliefs are part of our makeup.
yeah. And I don't think it's a case of smashing limiting beliefs. Sometimes you see that in social media posts, in people sort of offering courses and training and things like that. I think it's more a case of dissolving them slowly over a period of time, because they have been long held, they have been deeply ingrained, and they are part of our identity. So to totally remove them, like you say, is going to be challenging. But to find those little steps out of that identity, shift their thinking. What would the future look like for them without the old belief? Can be something to consider as well.
Yeah, and I think if they have taken some steps along the way, actually recognising that, if we're coaching them, congratulating them on taking the steps they have already and working towards that new way of being. So just some affirmation along the way that they're doing good work.
Acknowledging how far they've come. I think, and just celebrating or encouraging them to be proud of their achievements in some way. And I think also just to be aware that it might be that you sometimes revert back to the old ways of thinking because they have been quite ingrained. So to recognise that there might just be, it's not that they're completely off track, it's just a bump in the road.
Yeah, wonderful. So I think it's probably a good place to leave that conversation. So thank you for bringing that today.
You're welcome. And maybe we can offer a mini limiting belief challenge for our listeners.
Okay, yeah, we've not done this before, but
No.
feel free.
Well, I thought maybe, if you're willing, no, our listeners, I'm not talking to you. To our listeners, maybe
It's all about me.
think about something that you're carrying, perhaps an I can't statement, but some sort of limiting belief, and just consider, what if the opposite were true? And you might want to journal around that, have a think to yourself, or even perhaps bring it to a coaching session. I'm just going to offer it out there as a little mini challenge.
Very good. Homework for you all.
You know, I like a
Enjoy.
bit of homework.
Let us know how you get on.
Yes, do.
Okay, so what are we doing next time, Helen?
Next time on the podcast, I believe we're going to be having a discussion. We're back to neurodivergence.
And neurodiversity. Actually, we're talking more about neurodiversity and the neuromajority than about neurodivergence.
We are. I look forward to it. We'll be back soon.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.